In this video, we're going to try out the 8-inch heavy-duty bead roller from Eastwood, and we're going to roll a bead in the transmission tunnel piece that we made the other day. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Dan, and you're watching Resto Car, your source for DIY content to help you finish those builds. And hey, if you're passionate about restoring cars, consider subscribing because that's what we do here on Resto Car. And if you do subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get alerts whenever we post new videos. All right guys, so we got the piece pretty much bent as good as I'm going to be able to get it, and I got it clamped in place right now, and everything looks pretty good. Push up here, the marks line up pretty good, and I have a little bit of extra material here that I need to cut back, and then the same thing on the other side. So I think we're good to go. We're just going to go ahead and trim some of this up, and basically what we're going to try to do is get this to sit flat. So I'll show you what I mean. All right, so here is the firewall side. You can see how nice and flat that sits to the workbench here, and that's because I used the factory edge on that side. Now on the other side, it's not sitting so flat. We have a big gap here and a gap over here on this side, and when I bring this up, probably have somewhere close to a 1/4 inch or so up in here. So what I'm going to do is take this permanent marker and just kind of drag it around, make a nice straight line across. And what this is going to do is going to allow me to make a cut that, you know, will be somewhat straight. It will be better than this, and that'll allow the next piece to overlap. And when you're looking at it from underside of the car and all that jazz, it's going to be looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and mark this out and get it cut. All right, got a mark. Go ahead and cut it out. All right guys, so one last test fit, and just make sure everything looks okay, make sure it didn't mess anything up, so it all looks good. So what I was going for there is to make this edge align with the edge where the firewall comes down. So it's right on the other side of this bead here. So that's all looking good on both sides. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mark the center of my bead, and then we'll set up the bead roller and put the bead into this panel. All right guys, so we're gonna go ahead and roll the bead now. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the bead roller. I bought this bead roller specifically for this transmission tunnel, and then of course I figured we could do some cool stuff with it later on. But I went with the heavy duty version of their bead rollers, and I went with the 8-inch version because I'm gonna be doing this myself, and anything bigger I think I would need 2 people to kind of turn it, the handles and guide the panel through at the same time. So this might be a little awkward, but we're gonna try it out and see how we do, and hopefully we get a nice straight bead in the panel. So let's go ahead and get this set up and see how it does. All right guys, so I took the mark that I made where the bead was while the thing was clamped into the car, and I transferred it to the other side, and then I measured from the edge to here, and we have 1 1/8 inch. The die set in the bead roller right now has 1/4 inch bead, so basically that 1 1/8 inch is the center of our bead, and I'm thinking I can come in just 1 inch and make a line the whole way down. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to use the edge of this die to guide it, so we'll see how that goes. And I think, so that's the plan. So I'm going to go ahead and scribe this just so I get a consistent 1 inch mark the whole way down. I'm going to go ahead and use this caliper here and just kind of scribe it in. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I don't know if you can see that or not, but basically right here we have that scribe line. Now that's probably going to be hard to see. I think what I'm going to do is take my black marker down across here and then scribe it one more time to see if I can make that a little bit easier to see, and then we'll go from there. All right, so take a look. Basically painted that line black with the marker. Obviously a wider marker would have been better, but anyway, got it in there, and then I just rescribed it with the caliper there, and now that's a little bit easier to see with that contrasting black background there. So again, we're going to take this scribe mark and we're going to line it up with the edge of this die right here, this inner edge, and hopefully we get a nice bead out of that. So all right guys, so I did take some time out to read the instructions, and basically what we're going to do is put the panel in here, tighten this down finger tight, and then we're going to take the 10mm wrench, tighten it down a few more turns, which would compress all this, and then we'll lock the nut in the back, or the bolt I guess, we'll tighten that up, and then we'll take it and kind of go both ways and put our bead in place. So again, I'm going to be using the edge of this die as a guide. It's going to line up with my line over here to create the bead, and we're going to try to do that all and turn it at the same time, and hopefully all that works out. So I am going to count the number of turns here like the instructions say, because when we do the other half of the transmission tunnel, we want the same depth of bead there. So all right, I'm going to go ahead and get this panel into the bead roller and get everything tightened down, and then we'll go ahead and get started there. All right guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this in 2 passes because I'm already putting a lot of tension on this, and I want the full depth of the bead here to because that's what it's going to take to match the Camaro. So we'll go ahead and do 2 passes. So I tightened it about 3 half turns there, past finger tight. We'll go ahead and roll that first bead, and then we'll do it again. Again, following instructions here, kind of start in the middle of the panel, go into the end, and then back again, I guess. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the rear bolt. Kind of lock that in place. And now we're going to go ahead and kind of send this through. So for starters here, this is not easy to turn with how I cranked it, but we're going to manage and we're going to get to it. So let's go. And if you guys just saw what I did, put the bead in backwards. Dun dun dun. I have no clue if I'm going to be able to fix that, but we're going to find out. I'll be right back after I flip these dies. All right guys, so I'm back. Basically flipped the dies around because my line's already on this side, and the way the device is set up, I just can't flip the panel around to the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Hopefully I can knock this bead down with this bead roller. If not, I might have to get out the hammer, knock it down, and then try again. So just makes it a little more difficult because now I got to keep this thing centered next to the line, but that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and do this. I'm hoping I don't have to make another panel, but hey, this is how we learn and how we get better. So let's keep going. Now we're gonna go over the mistake I made. See how that works. Now, the issue I'm going to have here, so I'll say vise on a swivel, like the instructions say, is definitely a good idea because now I can't see my line on the other side. So, all right, see, there we go. It's a little better over from the back. Definitely getting a swivel vise. All right, so now I'm going over the other bead. See how that goes here. Man, it's not going. All right, I'm gonna take this off real quick and hit this down with the hammer and flatten it out. Back in business. Let's do it. All right, guys, so that was a little bit painful. I know some of you guys that are pros out there, you're probably laughing your you know what off, but yeah, one mistake there with the dies on the wrong sides, you know, where the panel, I guess, flipped the wrong way, and then of course, you know, trying to orient the panel so that I can see the line and all that stuff without a vise that swivels and or a you know, something. So anyway, here's the sort of first look at it. You can kind of see it's turned out pretty nice. Here's where I made the little mistake. But we're gonna go ahead and run this a little deeper and see how it turns out. So let's run it through one more time. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing. We're gonna put this start in the middle, and then we're just gonna, I guess, kind of run it through both directions. All right. So technically it should be a little easier now because we should be riding this speed in the groove of the die. So we'll see though, we'll see how it goes. Hang on, my handle's falling off over here. Tighten that up. Let's run it through. Go this way first. All right, guys. So there you have it. This piece cleaned up pretty nice where I kind of messed it up, went in the wrong direction, or wrong side, I guess. So I think that'll do. It's pretty cool. First time doing that. Not too bad once you get those first few things figured out. I'm off on my mark a little bit, but that's all right. We can probably adjust this either way, but either way, it'll be so close, it'll be hard to tell. And then here's the original side by side. This is a piece of the transmission tunnel. Maybe this may look a little better here, but you know, this bead's probably a little more crisp than this one, but still pretty close. I don't think anybody would be able to tell from 20 feet away. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and set this in the car and see what it looks like. All right, guys, check that out. Turned out pretty nice. Here's a quick look at the other side. Same thing, the beads actually lined up pretty good on both sides, so that's good. So we are ready to fit this. Well, guys, that's all we have time for today. In the next episode, we're gonna finally get this half of the transmission tunnel fitted in place intact. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you like this content, please consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get alerts whenever we post new videos. We'll see you in the next one.